Infantry still has a drone lead. Actually, 56 to 42 right now.
It was just did just have like 43 or so. He just put in a huge round of drones into production, and we see siege tech on his tanks is only about muta harass going on in the back of Zombo Joe's main.
Yeah,
Looks like it's
there,
being partially repelled by a missile turret and a couple of Marines to chase that down. At the end of the day, all it accomplished was about halfway kill the refinery, it seems, and maybe a few workers.
yeah, 4 workers killed in that, and I don't know whether it was worth it. I didn't see whether any mutas died, but look at this push coming in from Zombo Joe. A whole lot of tanks, a whole lot of Marines, and 5 medevacs. I don't know if infantry's prepared for this. He has a lot of roaches, but with those tanks sieging up in the background, he's just going to be able to hold it off for a very short amount of time, going after these Marines. But these tanks, he's just going to fall right back into the tanks and heal up with those medevacs. He is blocked in right now. Infantry really needs to do something to free himself from Zombo Joe at this point.
Zombo Joe very carefully positioning those tanks, which do 50 damage a shot with splash damage when they're in siege mode against these armored roaches. Infantry looks to be in a rather tight spot, needs to switch over to his unit production, and see a little counter push coming out. Infantry very wary of those tanks.
More
pulling back.
mutas on the way, but there's so many missile turrets. Oh, so many of these mutas are dying. I think all of them are going to go down. I don't think infantry was paying attention right there. He's far too concerned with the huge army that's in front of his base. Not a whole lot of damage done with those mutas.
Zombo Joe creeping up tanks, and here comes infantry with the roaches. The Zerglings annihilated. Roaches forming a nice arc.
The roaches are doing a whole lot of damage, to almost killing all the Marines. There's only 2 tanks left.
Infantry wisely pulling back and then re-engaging to get out of tank range. Roaches burrowing to restore health. They have that rapid regeneration. Getting the most use out of those that he can. Zombo Joe down to 2 tanks at the front.
And
9 Marines.
Infantry getting the level 1 carapace, making 14 roaches right now. So he's definitely sticking with the roaches, not making any more mutas at this point. I guess he feels that there's so many Marines that they're not going to be very
Zombo
effective.
Joe caught in an awkward point with the tanks on siege.
Yes,
he is not sieging up those tanks.
He needs to see. I don't. If he sieged him right now, it almost wouldn't matter. He's doing a whole lot of damage to this army, but he's still not able to finish it off. That was a perfect scan. Perfect scan for Zombo Joe, and that puts him in. Let's look at the units. Only 2 roaches for infantry. He's almost got no units protecting himself right now. And Zombo Joe moves into this 3rd expansion. He's going to be able to destroy this base, I think.
In production, we see 15 roaches on the way for infantry. He has got 3,200 minerals. Just so much money needs to spend that, turn that into units. I'm amazed.
That's the problem with being blocked in like that. Is you can't. It's almost like you can't spend your money fast enough because you keep having to use it, or use your larva to produce those units. You need to get more bases up, but you just can't expand anymore.
I'm amazed by the ratio of medevacs to Marines. We see, what is this, 32 Marines and 10 medevacs. That's almost 1 medevac for every 3 Marines, doing an excellent job of keeping those Marines alive.
There is
a little counter push for
counter push for infantry, who is able to do a little bit of damage to the army, but is going to be stopped right there. He's really not getting a lot of benefit out of that burrow for his roaches, because Zombo Joe is so good with those scans. The second he burrows, he's got a scan right on top of it. Both players going for their 3rd again. Infantry taking the other expansion and actually taking another expansion, a secret expansion in the bottom right. I don't know if infantry or Zombo Joe is going to spot that one.
Zombo Joe is down to 100. Oh, just muled up. He has, let's see, on neither of his command centers does he have enough energy for a scan. That may be the only thing that saves infantry here.
Now, this is a huge push. Again, he's got almost all of his army back and blocking in infantry. But infantry's already got those expansions out, and so the damage may have already been done for Zombo Joe, but he's actually attacking that third. You know, I almost think that infantry may have put down that third as a distraction to say, here's my third, you know, you got me. But look at everywhere on the map. Infantry is building so many expansions. He has 3 more expansions going down. If those finish, it will be 5 expansions for infantry. But he needs to fight off this push. It's so huge right now. He's got a lot of roaches. I think that's going to be enough to push back Zombo Joe.
Zombo Joe was flying around infantry's base with a medevac full of Marines and unable to find a safe spot to drop, and will now scout up into the top left and see that top left expansion, which has just popped up, and the natural of the top left,
Infantry
which
was
is almost done.
Infantry was able to burrow under those units and do a whole lot of damage to the Marines. And look, he is able to. He took a few roaches and killed all of those tanks. And infantry has to get out of there. He's lost so many units, and those Marines just aren't doing a whole lot of damage against those roaches. They have 1/1 upgrades. The roaches have 1/1 as well, but with the benefit of that burrow as well as speed.
The level 2 missile attacks going down for infantry.
Scan going down, and the burrow is just it's worked out once for infantry, but other than that, it's not been very effective for him. I'm surprised we haven't seen and infantry moving in with all his workers. They were just annihilated. There's no more units being produced. There's 17 roaches, but this is a huge amount of Marines, and look how many medevacs that is. I cannot believe how many medevacs that is. Almost all damage done to these Marines can be almost instantly healed.
Infantry needs to watch the rally point on his main hatchery. His roaches, pulling those back wisely.
I was wondering when we were going to see that baneling's nest, but I don't think he's going to have any time to get any banelings out. His main is within seconds of going down. It'll be interesting to see whether he stays in this game because of the 3 expansions that he still has. But look at all of these overlords dying. I don't know if there's anything he can do at this point. He's moving them out as fast as he can. Are we seeing any kind of tech buildings on any of these expansions? That will indicate whether he's still going to try to play in this game. But the main has gone down. There goes the lair and all of the drones. This is this is so many medevacs.
Spawning Pool, Roach Warren, and Baneling Nest we see going down at the top left. Perhaps infantry trying to hang on just a little bit, and Zombo Joe just building a row of 2 barracks and 2 factories rather inelegantly right out in the middle of everything there. Has not taken his 4th base, but now we'll scout down to the bottom right and find the stealth expansion, which no mining going on there.
I think maybe infantry was hoping that this would throw Zombo Joe off his game, but his production is still very high. Zombo Joe's making a lot more units, and there's the good game as he spots the final 2 expansions for infantry. Wow, what an interesting game. Infantry tried everything he could to stay in this thing. 4 expansions going down at once, and he had so much money, he definitely could be able to do it. But where it came down to it, he did not have enough larvae to create an army large enough to deal with so many Marines. What do you think about this game?
I'm incredibly impressed by the economy of infantry, but I'm not familiar enough with Zerg to say what went wrong converting that economy into production of units. Infantry was just unable to convert that pile of minerals into enough units to hold off Zombo Joe.
I think maybe if infantry would have used that infestation pit, it would have been able to lock down those Marines a little bit better, or maybe throw down a baneling's nest. There was a lot of things he could do in that game with the amount of minerals he had, but with the harass from Zombo Joe, I mean, just the constant pushing and pressure, it's very hard for Zerg to be able to pull a win out of that. But very good games from these 2 players. Zombo Joe wins it 2-1 and moves on to the finals for the lower bracket. And he's ready and raring to go to get back into that top bracket and to try to win this tournament. We will see you next game.